What's your favorite scary movie? Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Florida vs. Georgia 2021? We'll break down one of those today on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day, available daily and free wherever you listen to podcasts. Happy Monday. I am Brandon Olson. You can find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. I'm also the founder of Whole9Sports.com, where you can find all of my written work. Getting right into this review. Looking at the offense first, it was way too predictable, if you're going to ask me, which I'm assuming you're asking me since you are here today. So thanks. But, it was way too predictable because I was watching the game with someone who isn't a Gators fan, and even he was like, QB draw coming. Like, it was just so clear that with Anthony Richardson, we were going to run QB draw, QB power, QB blast, whatever it was. We were running the ball with the quarterback kind of freaking a lot. And I mean, it was outs. There were a lot of outs for some reason, including one on 3rd and 6, which I was like, oh, like you don't call a quick out if you're not going for it. And then we punted. It was very weird, but I think the offense was way too predictable for way too much of the game. I thought that the point of starting Anthony Richardson was to focus more on the deep passing game. And I get that Georgia's pass rush was fired up and going. They got 2 sacks, more pressures, but we didn't try to challenge downfield unless it was on a trick play, like Malik Davis with the halfback pass at a toss bunch, whatever. That's fine with me. I'm cool with trick plays. Or Emery pass to Anthony Richardson, throw it deep, and it's like, okay, I get it. Trick plays are great. But what the hell, man? Like, just you have a quarterback in Anthony Richardson that wants to throw the ball deep. Just get him moving, do that little bootleg with the pulling guards or pulling tackle and let them pass block for him, whatever, all that fun stuff. But let him throw the ball deep. Like, I get Georgia's defense is phenomenal. I get it. I don't care. Throw the ball deep. If you have Anthony Richardson, like, that's what he's good at. If you were just going to throw screens, hitches, and outs, put Emery in. That's not Anthony Richardson's forte there. On Friday, I spoke about screens and wide runs and being the focal point, or not the focal point, but being something that this offense could do to really challenge Georgia's defense. And I get that, like, we did a lot of quick outs and all that fun stuff. I needed more wide receiver screens there. Just because I think that was working. Screens and wide runs. I think both of those things were working if we would have stuck to it. Dameon Pierce, season high, 9 carries, which is the most offensive thing I've ever seen. But season high, 9 carries, and he was tremendous. A lot of his work was on those wide runs. Wide runs were working. We just didn't stick to it. And then those final 2.5 minutes of the game, final 2.5 minutes of the first half, demolished us. That was rough. That was really rough. We knew with Anthony Richardson that we would eventually run into some kind of turnover problems and very low points. That's what happened in that final 2.5 minutes to end the first half. And I don't blame him for the fumble at all, because he was just fighting forward. Georgia was holding him up while trying to rip the ball out, and Florida linemen were pushing him forward. It was nearly impossible for him to hold on to that ball. So I don't blame him for that fumble. What I do blame him for is I don't think that would have been the play call had we picked up a yard or two on the play before that, in which Anthony Richardson was supposed to take it off tackle to the right or out of the tackle to the right, and instead he cut it back and almost got tackled for a safety, and it was really ugly. It's like he needs to, I think, recognize that not everything can be a home run play, especially when you're backed up. Sometimes you've just got to take what the defense is giving you, which I'll get more into in the second segment too, because I have a big issue with something Florida did that it kind of pissed me off a lot. Looking at the defense, stellar for 99% of the game. Rashad Torrance, animal. 8 tackles, 2 picks, a fumble recovery, just lights out. He did give up that 36-yard touchdown, but hey, I'll take that if you're going to force 3 turnovers. I have no problem with that. Georgia came out and immediately ran counter trap, and which LSU, of course, demolished Florida on. And Georgia came out and literally the first play from scrimmage for them. Well, first play from scrimmage in the game. Georgia came out and ran that counter trap and got a first down on it. It's rough knowing that Florida's got so much defensive talent, and I genuinely mean I even think that our linebackers are pretty damn talented. I just think the scheme sucks. And I think it's not built for them and they don't fit in it. That's why I think they've been underperforming. But it sucks that this defense has so much talent throughout and coaching can't teach them to stop a simple play that's counter trap. That's what's frustrating to me, at least, that it's just like, what in the world are you doing there that you can't teach them how to stop that play? It's not like an impossible play to it's not like Madden where if you run 0-1 trap or halfback wham, you're getting yards and you know it. It's counter trap in real life. Blow it up. Like I don't get why Todd Grantham is so incapable and incompetent where he can't make these changes. And I genuinely feel bad for this defense because, man, this Gators defense played just so damn good for so long. Like, seriously, because even the Georgia touchdowns, it was one play, 36 yards was the touchdown that Rashad Torrance gave up. And it was after a pick. And it was just they had the rushing touchdown from the 11, I think it was, after the fumble. Like, this wasn't like Florida just got mollywopped up and down the field, which is, I think, the most frustrating thing because when you look at the score, it looks like Georgia just took us out back and beat the crap out of us for the entirety of the game. But if you look at when things happened, those 2.5 minutes, it was 3-0 Georgia going into the final 2.5 minutes of the first half. And at halftime, it was 24-0. That was Georgia was just, oh my gosh. I am so pissed just because Georgia's like it's gonna look like we just got demolished the entire game when really neither offense had success the entire game. It was just the 2.5 minute stretch for Georgia or the 2.5 minute stretch from Florida really that gave Georgia the 24-0 lead. So that's what's really frustrating. All right, college football fanatics, have you heard about PrizePicks? PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. I love it, and I know you will too. PrizePicks offers every sport you could think of. I'm talking NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, MLB, soccer, MMA, and more. PrizePicks offers more college football props than anyone in the world and offers all the star players of the Power Five, like Rashad Torrance II, Emory Jones, Anthony Richardson, as well as the smaller players that you might not have ever heard of. Bryce Mitchell, Bryant Koback, Daquan Finn, guys like that. PrizePicks allows mixed sport entries, so you can take the over on Anthony Richardson rushing yards and the under on Colin Castleton rebounds in the same entry. Don't hesitate. Check out prizepicks.com or go to your app store and download the app today. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Use promo code Locked On. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. Now it's time for the good, bad, and ugly. And wow, yikes, this is going to be tough. The good, Georgia's points per game allowed has gone up. Mess with us. Before this game, Georgia was allowing 6.6 points per game, and now Georgia's allowing 6.625 points per game. So shove it, dogs. Hey, I'll take wins where I can get them. I don't give a damn. The other good is our defense, man. I am again pointing out just how bad I feel for them. Guys really just balled out the entire game, besides for a 2.5 minute stretch in which they were just screwed over by their offense. But like Rashad Torrance had 3 takeaways, 2 picks, and a forced fumble or a fumble recovery. He did not force the fumble. He did a recovery. I believe it was Javon Dexter that forced it. And by the way, the commentating on that one was horrible because clearly it was a fumble. Upon review, it was clearly a fumble, and the commentators were was his right knee down before? Meanwhile, his right knee is a foot and a half above the ground, and it's like, no, his right knee wasn't down. Sorry, I got so irrationally pissed about that. But turnovers put our defense in a tough spot, and eventually Georgia got some points off of it. But hey, defense, good on you, man. That was chef's kiss. The bad play calling. I spoke about this previously. Dan Mullen once again just absolutely refused to dial up deep shots unless they were on trick plays. Like I mentioned, Malik Davis at a single back bunch with a little toss and halfback pass. Like, I don't get it. Emery on 2nd and 10, by the way, it was clearly double pass based on how far back Anthony Richardson was. But Emery takes a snap, goes back to Anthony Richardson, and what does Anthony Richardson do? He just throws it to the one guy that was actually running a route. Because there was someone on the top of the screen that ran a curl and then just stood there, and that irrationally pissed me off too, because like you had so much space to work with over the middle. Change it to an in route. It could be a little irrational, but I don't care. We lost by kind of a lot. So yeah, that sucked. By the way, for those wondering about my bets, no, I didn't win any of them involving Florida. so that was really fun. Happy about that for sure. Yeah, I'm super stoked there. But another thing that was bad from Florida was the lack of adjustments. There were a lot of plays where whoever our slot receiver was at that point was just completely uncovered. And I don't know why this would be the case, but I don't know if Anthony Richardson or Emory Jones weren't given the green light to make checks at the line for anything. But at some point, someone has to recognize that, you're playing against Georgia's defense, which is the greatest defense I've ever seen, which is so frustrating to admit. But your slot's uncovered, and granted, it's probably because someone's supposed to fly in there, but you have to at least try. Go quick hitch, bubble screen, something to be like, hey, the slot is completely open right now. Get the ball to him in some way. That adjustment was never made, and that was so frustrating for me because you're playing Georgia. You can't just go in there with a game plan and be like, we're going to stick to it no matter what. When it wasn't working. I'll say, and it was most of the time that I recognized the slot was open was in the second half, and it's like at that point you're already down 24-0. Do something, try something to see if your team can make this work. The ugly, whatever the hell Bretton Cox Jr. was doing, that's my first ugly. That's the biggest ugly because I don't know what the hell he was doing. I tweeted about it. I know Ahmad Black tweeted about it. I know pretty much every Gators reporter that I know tweeted about it. He would take himself out of plays and then just go, there, it's over there. Like, the hell? Get him yourself, Bretton Cox Jr. Like, it's Stetson Bennett. Chase him. I get it. He's an athletic quarterback. I fully understand that. I don't care. He's still the quarterback, and you're the edge rusher. Go get the quarterback. I don't care if he's past the line of scrimmage. Because there was where that happened. There was, I can't remember who got the ball, but Bretton Cox Jr. got pushed from the right tackle to like over center and then just stopped trying, and the ball went directly where he should have been. So I don't know what the hell was going on with him. I would have thought that he'd be like, oh, like my old school, I'm about to turn up. Like I'm about to get after him. And then he just didn't. So I don't know what the hell was going through his mind. I don't know what his plan was, but it sucked. And that was the most disappointing thing I've ever seen from an individual. And I've watched a lot of Gators not try hard. The other ugly, Anthony Richardson's first start. Look, I think most of us not even most of us, meaning like Gators fans or anything. I just think most people expected it to get ugly at some point. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Emory started for the sole purpose of not throwing Anthony Richardson to the dogs, literally. But Anthony Richardson is a raw boom or bust quarterback playing the greatest defense I've ever seen. We knew it was going to get ugly at some point for him. I just wish we would have made more adjustments when it did get ugly or do something, but it was ugly. And then he ended up getting injured. It was rough for him. It's not ugly because it's Anthony Richardson. It's not a knock on him. It's just that it was an ugly part of the game that we knew at some point he was probably going to turn it over. He was probably going to make a few bad reads, a few bad decisions. That's ultimately what happened. And again, I'm not faulting him for that first fumble. That's not his fault at all. So I don't blame him for that. It's just it sucked, but it was ugly, and it was his first start, so that's why I got the ugly. I don't know about you guys, but football season's here, basketball season's here, baseball playoffs are here, hockey season's here, and I'm watching that too. And it's kind of I probably won't do it for much longer, but now I am constantly snacking, and I mean constantly snacking. So I've committed to eating Built Bar because it's better than the sugary or salty snacks that I usually eat. Built Bar is the best protein bar on the market. If you're trying to eat clean, but you've got a sweet tooth like me, that is no longer a problem. Built Bar, your low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and high fiber solution. You can even enjoy it if you're keto. Remember to use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your next order. That is LOCKED, LOCKED 15 to get 15% off of your next order at BuiltBar.com. And now looking at where do we go from here as the Florida Gators. This one will probably be a little bit quicker, but it's something that I felt needed to be brought up at some point today. Dan Mullen, I am proud of you, sir. Because on the bright side, for the first time since Missouri in 2018, Dan Mullen has taken accountability and taken responsibility for his shortcomings, which is fantastic. That honestly, just that effort or that showing he gives a damn makes me be like, oh, like brighter days will be here for Florida fans. He's openly said that he knows changes need to be made and that he needs to regroup and rethink things and come with a different approach, whatever. We've got a few games left in this season to turn it around, and every bit of this matters for coaching, like for who's going to be here. It matters more for recruiting because recruits are going to look at these final few games and be like, hey, if you suck, we're not going there. It's as simple as that. A lot of guys, yeah, they commit to a team, a school, what coaching staff, whatever it may be. But like when you look at high school recruits, they're fair weather, and they have every right to be fair weather. They're making the decision for their future. So I don't fault them at all. I don't fault any decommits. None of that. Because if you suck and people decommit, it's because you suck and they don't think you're going to bounce back, which means that do you really want someone who doesn't have faith in your program anyway with you? So no, I'm fine with decommits. Go ahead. I think that despite our defense playing a phenomenal game, Todd Grantham, still going. I realized that the little thing, still going. I realized that my nameplate was in the way. But yeah, Todd Grantham, I still think he's headed out. He's just not the answer defensive coordinator. Fantastic game, but then again, Georgia's not a super creative offense, so you could have just stuck with you could have just had the game plan, stuck with it, and that's pretty much what we did. Clearly, he did not add counter trap into the game plan because he's Todd Grantham, and he doesn't know how to do that. But yeah, he's not the answer. I think that he's going to be here for the remainder of the season and just try to coach for his next job. Anthony Richardson got banged up. That is another thing that we need to talk about because it's now his second injury. Pulled his hamstring last time, or a strain, whatever. He had a hamstring injury. That means that he's had 2 injuries this season, which is rough. We need to know how much time he's going to miss with this one. I haven't even gotten an official diagnosis at the time of recording this. But we need to know how much time he's missing, if he's going to miss any time. And out of just general curiosity, I would like to see what's up with his long-term health because He's only played in like 6 games. He's been injured in 2 of them. And I mean, generally, I just want to know if he's going to be the guy that's constantly banged up because he's very much like Cam Newton's play style in the sense of like he wants to take a deep shot or he wants to run the ball, which is totally fine. And by the way, I love that we worked in a little bit of speed option or more of a speed option this week. I think that was fantastic to get the ball out wide and get the ball in just the hands of your best playmakers. I think that was great. No, no complaints. But yeah, he's very much like Cam Newton in the sense where he wants to run the ball or he wants to take a deep shot. And if you want to take a deep shot, you open yourself up to getting hit in the backfield, the pass rush. If you want to run the ball, you open yourself up to getting hit by defenders because you're running the ball. And when you're as big as Anthony Richardson and when you're as big as Cam Newton, sliding is not something you do a ton of, but I would love it if Anthony Richardson would take Cam Newton as a cautionary tale because Cam's been demolished by injuries long term. Anthony Richardson's already dealing with some injuries, and I get it. One was from getting hit, one was just from outrunning an entire defense, and he pulled his hamstring or strained his hamstring, whatever. The fact remains, though, that he's now been injured twice, playing significant snaps in 6 games, and it's not worrisome, but I would like to know, is this going to be a long-term thing? Is he going to keep getting injured? That's not me criticizing him for injury. I don't criticize for injury. I'm just saying that maybe he needs to switch up his play style a little bit if he wants to have a long career playing football, because he's obviously got all of the tools to be a very high draft pick and a very successful player. It's just a matter of if he could stay healthy long enough to do it. But thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. Don't miss out tomorrow because Tape Tuesday. So we get to break down 4 plays from Florida, Georgia. Now make your second listen Locked On SEC. Get all of your daily SEC news in less than 30 minutes with SEC expert Chris Gordy of Sports 790. It is free and available on all platforms. For Locked On Gators, I am Brandon Olson. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. You can find all of my written work with Whole 9 Sports. That is WHOLENINE Sports. And be sure to check out my pin tweet, Let Locked On Know Why Gator Nation is the best fan base in college football. And I will see you all tomorrow.